Welcome everyone. We have got the band back together again. Look at this, man. The team is here. Jesse, how are you? Nice to have you on. Yes. It's quite surreal. I was just talking to Audrey there as well. Audrey, thank you for coming on. It's
Hi, it's great to be here.
Yes, back to the team. So hopefully this is
Yes.
how it happens. Oh, wait on, I forgot the little fella in the corner there as well. JB, nice. Actually, JB sorts all this out for us and kind of gets it all organized. And
Admin man.
yes, admin. Because then it's like trying to herd cats, isn't it? Trying to like get we're just there. Where's Jesse? Where's Jesse? Where's Jesse? So nice to have you all on. Marvelous.
It's wonderful.
JB, what? Because we're not yes, we're talking about gardening and anything really going down rabbit holes. What has anything been happening in your life in gardening or anything like that?
I've had a bit of a winter kind of rush on at the moment. I'm getting stressed just thinking about it because I have this to-do list that is just it's not very winter. Normally I think of winter as like the nice restful, you can kind of catch your breath. And I've decided to just renovate the entire allotment and to convert it into all raised beds, and I've got the polytunnel to finish. So it's all go at the moment. It's a really, really jam-packed winter. And yeah, I've been really busy. I've been doing lots of manure spreading because I've got a nice source of fresh manure at the moment, which
Horse,
is amazing.
horse manure.
Horse, yeah,
Yeah.
horse manure. So it's fresh, so it's got all winter to kind of do its thing and break down. But I've just covered it all over with impermeable plastic, like to keep the rain off. And this is I think it's a bit of a hot topic and one we could
Hmm.
discuss a little bit because I think there's a lot of different kind of ways of doing it. But the guy I was talking to was like, you've got to cover it, you've got to keep the water off it so that all the nutrients don't run through and into the kind of groundwater and get washed out. He was saying if you cover it with something that's going to keep the rain off, then the worms will bring it down into your soil and it'll all be nice and rich. What do you guys do when it comes to manure?
Well,
Do you just
see, I would
leave it?
just me personally, JB, I would have thought that was possibly the worst thing you could ever do because you'd want the rain to like flush out all them goodness into the so yeah, the worms will come and drag out, kind of break it down. But I
Well,
honestly don't know because I've only actually, like in the early days manured when it turned up
yeah.
the allotment. You know what I mean? I've ordered it once and it was like hellish hard work. There was like a wagon load of the thing come, you know what I mean? And I was,
What
you
year was this?
God, it was
Horse and cart.
no, honestly, this tractor trailer dumped so much, and it was just like, and it was £20 this load, I remember, and I was like, how, you know what I mean? I had a
Amazing.
wheelbarrow and a fork, and it took us all day to get it up to the allotments. You know what I mean?
Oh
But
yeah.
I just actually put it in me compost beds. It filled the three.
Yeah.
I had old compost beds. It filled them full, the three of them, and I just left it there. Do you know what I mean? But
Hmm.
I mean that what you're saying makes sense. Or you can kind of well believe it if you were a non-gardener. But I think the old fellow would be laughing at you now if you
Yeah,
kind
I'd,
of.
I- I'd be interested to
Is
hear.
this? Have you
Yeah.
just, JB? Was this just the one, one stranger guy just told you in
Honestly, right?
passing?
So yeah, it's this guy on the allotment called Mike, who I've been talking about a lot in the videos. So you get the odd glimpse of him. When I did that video where I ate my hottest pepper, and literally as I took a bite,
Ah,
he
guy.
came over and started chatting. I was like, I'm a bit busy at the moment, Mike. Like steam coming out my ears. But no, he's a really nice guy, and he's down there all the time. He's basically become the warden. And he just always brings loads of horse mess. So he's everyone's best friend. But he's like, this is how you do it. And he's had just the one season of gardening,
Hmm.
but oh my God, his plot was amazing. So I'm just copying what he did.
Right.
And if he says do it, I'm gonna give it a go and see how it works out. Because
Depends on what your soil's like, though, already, doesn't it? Like, if you've got soil that's not going to wash through,
well, that was my
wouldn't
thinking.
make a, wouldn't, yeah.
Yeah, because we're
But
on the clay, which does tend to hold on to nutrients, doesn't it?
yeah. I mean, I've used black plastic in the
Hmm.
past quite a lot, and it's ruined what's underneath, like every time. to me.
Really?
I mean, the only time I've used it is like trying to raise bindweed roots to the surface. You know, if you just black plastic it, all the
Yeah.
roots come up and then you can just scoop them up like spaghetti. I've used it for that, but then what's been left underneath
Spaghetti.
hasn't been great. Like,
Interesting.
What? So,
Mm.
Jess, is the plastic like destroying the nutrients as well as like or like the microorganisms?
I just think it's like just that it's got not enough oxygen going to it, so
Right.
it sort of
Yeah.
stagnates, and yeah, it hasn't been great.
Interesting. Interesting. Well, I'm sort of trying it out on some beds, leaving some of the
Well,
others.
that
Bit of an experiment.
I was
I was
gonna
wondering
just.
actually because there's a bit of a controversy over this putting cardboard on your bed,
All right, all
because
right.
some
Now,
people
now,
say
now
that,
I'm dragged into it because
Yeah.
I'm
like
e-bike
some
city
people say,
cardboard.
but some people say having that, like I've read it quite a few times actually, that having that damp layer, even though, or wet layer, even though it does break down, like it really hinders the worms oxygen levels, and so they don't actually take down what's in there. It takes a lot longer. So I'm thinking if that's just a bit of cardboard, if that is actually what's happening, then maybe the plastic would be even worse. I don't know.
Interesting. I tell you what, I had some cardboard laying around the plot, like that I've discarded and stuff like that. And I've never seen so many worms in one place. I found like the damp cardboard can be such a worm like nursery. You know, I picked up this bit that had just been it was kind of like in a corner of a plot. And it was just I turned it over and it was literally just worms. You could only see the worms.
You
I
know
was like,
why
oh,
though, JB? Because they're all kind of gasping for air. Ah! You know what I mean? Like silly things that you know what I mean? Like, oh, thank God for that. That's silly how bad that. Right, Jess, I've never thought of that. Do you know what I mean? Because like I've got two boxes to go up, and I'm even like putting the cardboard in now neat. Do you know what I mean? Like rammed up nice and tight to the sides of the bed. So, and I'm just thinking, keep them weeds down. That's all my kind of
yeah.
mantra is at the minute, like the weeds, because I don't want to kind of go back to kind of hellish weeding or anything like that. Not that I've kind of, but that's the reason. But
Yeah.
you do see like plastic, you know, you even see plastic, and I see cracking onions, you know, like done, you know, the onion method where
Mm.
they've got the holes. You know what I mean? And there's quite a few in our allotments do that. You know what I mean? So, oh, this debate rages.
We'll
Well,
But
there's
see.
aren't
nothing
those
to say on the cardboard thing. I'm not saying it is or it isn't. It's just that I've read it so many times that it can, and not always, but it if it kind of gets to a certain saturation and then just sits there and it's underneath something else, it can kind of form a bit of a barrier. But I just keep reading it. I haven't actually tested it out or anything. I don't use cardboard, so it doesn't affect me.
So, do you? I was going to Audrey. I'll come to you in a sec. There, just I've just
sure, sure.
Jess, do you mulch then through winter, or just leave what you've got there for the next year?
Just cover it in like well rotted horse manure every bed.
Right, and let it
Yeah,
open to the wild, right? I'll be
yeah.
interested to see what kind of if JB's kind of ruined his garden, or
Yeah.
you know.
Uh,
Let's hope not. It's all for science, I guess.
I mean, if you kind of guru down there though, JB's garden was, you know, there's something to be said for it.
Yeah, it is sort of like he's not just some random guy who's read it. You know, he has done it and I've seen the results and I think, well, let's give it a go. Let's give it a
So
go.
is he relying like 100% on the worms to do the business then, is he? Right.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Yeah, yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Audrey, does horse shit ever come into your garden or out like that? Or
probably not as raw maybe as you get it. I buy it as a composted manure.
Oh, nice, yeah.
Uh, and I put that all over the beds for the winter, and I just leave it. I don't put anything over it. I just let the elements do their thing. But I was thinking when you talked about the onions that people were growing with the black plastic, I wonder if that was more like the black permeable plastic,
Yeah.
because I
Mhm.
wouldn't think you'd want that around your onions because you want it to get all the water they can. So
Mhm.
it might be, and so I could see how that would work
What
because that would keep weeds down, but it would also let water through.
What
Yeah.
Jesse was saying though rings a bell for me because sometimes when I go to the, we've had like a heavy rain, it's like puddled on top, so there's nothing getting through that,
No,
them bits of cardboard. Because the stuff I'm using is like, it's nearly like a good half-inch thick. You know what I mean? It's
yeah,
brought a bloody e-bike from China. You know,
E-bike
you
cardboard.
know what I mean? Kind of, it's uh, it's good. It's good car. I mean, it's when when you kind of it'd be ideal for when you top off a compost bed. Like and you kind of finished it and you want to just let that kind of just sit and don't want any weeds coming up. It's great for that as well. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. Does anyone do that as well then? Jess, do you like top off your compost or do you just leave it? So there must be weeds growing surely on your compost eventually as well. They must get to like a weed state, is it?
Well, I found by putting this just like the same stuff we're just using, like the composted horse manure,
hmm
it's so loose and crumbly
hmm
that whatever kind of gets in there and starts seeding, when the things sort of start coming up in the spring, they just like pull out. Their roots
hmm
haven't got a
Yeah.
grip on anything.
Yeah.
And as long as it's like a good bit thick, never really haven't had any problems with weeds from it at all. And we've got a
Yeah.
lot of like allotments that are just grass, so every time the wind blows, all the
Mhm.
seeds are blowing across, you can just see them, like,
Yeah.
and they just pull out. It's not like they're really tied in there.
Do you buy it, Jesse? Do you, or is it given?
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah,
yeah, buy it.
we've used the same stuff. Jesse recommended it, the compost center in it's based in Surrey, but they did deliver as far as Portsmouth. And yeah, it's an amazing mulch because there's something about it that just when weed seeds land in it, they won't get going. So when you want to sow into it, you have to kind of, part it a little bit and sow into the soil.
Kind of go through to
hmm
so the roots
Right.
are actually touching proper soil.
Yes.
Otherwise, they just, yeah.
But it's
So,
so good for that. It's so good.
so it's not good for it's not beneficial then to well, I guess it's putting body into the soil, but it's
It's
not
good texture.
putting,
It gets worked in over time, but
right.
you have to kind of replenish it. But yeah, it must be as rain is falling, it must be washing out nutrient from it as well. So
I
Well,
remember Jess.
that's kind of the Charles Dowding.
thank you so much.
That's kind of his whole philosophy, right? You put on
Yeah.
composted. He just does compost, but I
Mhm.
imagine composted manure would be even better. He does that every year. Just puts another couple inches on
Yeah.
and
Well,
doesn't cover it. Doesn't.
Well,
I don't know. I
I
think it's to me it's the easiest way to take care of it.
What I'm kind of fascinated as what Jess is saying there is like it doesn't, you can't grow seeds in it or seeds don't. So I kind of, apart from being a mulch to stop weeds coming through, I, I I'm feeling to find any positives from it. You know what I mean?
you could dig it in as well if
Right.
you really wanted
it's
to improve your
really,
soil.
yeah, it's really high nutrient level, and once it's taken down into the soil, so I've in each of my beds are what 2.4 meters by 1.2 meters, like pretty standard. I put 2 bags of 80-litre horse manure on that, at least once a year, some of the beds twice a year. And within like 2 months, it's basically been taken down into the soil. There's almost nothing left. And the quality of the soil, like, because my soil's dust, basically, the quality of the soil is incredible as
Right.
like compared to how it used to be. It's amazing. And it's got like double whammy because you can't grow seeds into it because it's not a compost, it's very much a mulch. But because you can't grow seeds into it, like weed seeds don't grow in it, so they
Oh,
can't get a
heaven,
purchase.
heaven.
And then so as long as when you're planting plants, like you just part it and you plant into the actual soil and then you put that in there, even the slugs don't like it. Did you find
Yes.
that, JP?
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
slugs won't go near it. It's really good stuff.
Man. So
Hmm.
you're not. So if you struggle to go down to yours, JB, you're not come up to God's country delivering anything, I guess. Is
Yeah.
it just like a local thing, Jess? Is it this compost? Is it
I don't know. I mean, they do like they're everywhere around here.
right?
Country Natural, they're called. Yeah, the compost centre. It's like the bog standard one you get around here, but I mean, I don't know if you obviously
And
you got
I
it.
know, well, I know Hannah, with her, she works at the track hall garden as well. I know she brought in some like lovely compost when I went to actually see her at like a little garden at that restaurant. It was just like if Harrods were going to make a compost, do you know what I mean? It was that kind of quality. I was like, oh, And she was getting like dumpy bags of it, you know what I mean? And it was just like,
Wow.
God, there was tears in my eyes. You know, if you could get a hold of that stuff, do you know? So you now, JB, we're mentioning as well, and Audrey, I'm guessing you're in for this as well, and Jess, Boxing Day sowing onions. It's a big thing. Got to remember the old boy. He was always,
I
Audrey's like,
know.
no.
you know what I mean? So
Yeah,
I
no.
know JB's saying as well, and actually Ian from Grown Locals, he's got so we can kind of sew along. We're going to do a Boxing Day special little show. So we are going to sow seeds. Maybe not because I haven't got cameras. I might show you like a little container full of me seeds that I've grown. But if you go on the link in this description, Ian Grown Local's got like a little set of onions. You know, he's got the kind of the Ishikuas, which was Steve's favorite spring onions, and he's got I think maybe Red Baron and a couple of others. You know what I mean? To get where we're sowing seeds instead of sets. And
Yeah.
that's totally changed my mind. You know what I mean? Like doing the onion, this from seeds. I got red onions, and they were great. Do you know what I mean? And they were just little. You know what I mean? They're like a little small tennis ball, but that's like a nice salad.
Golf ball. My goodness. I'm quite excited about a golf ball. My God.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so yes, is who JB, are you're son, are you? Are you gonna
Yeah, my so last year I did them in the little I call them seed trays, you know, like the Super 7 sized, you know,
Mhm.
like a mini quarter tray.
Mhm.
I just did them in there and oh my God, that was a mistake. I won't be doing that again. I'm gonna sew them straight into like the module trays, you know, where you get the 5 by 5 all the little cells because I thought that you sewed them into the little mini trays and then they'd sit there until kind of March, April, and you could plant them straight out. And they need dividing so much sooner than that. So I ended up spending so much time going through all these little trays and putting them into the big modules anyway. I thought, well, I could just plant them in the big modules in the first place. So that's a mistake I made last year that I'll be correcting.
yeah, it's funny, mind you, JB, because I just thought that was the norm.
It probably
I never
is. I
even
think I'm
thought
too
of like
lazy.
I never even thought of doing that. You know what I mean? Because I did spend, do you know what I mean? Like they come up lovely, but then you
Yeah.
realize when they're like say 4 or 5 inches, I need to kind of thin these out, and it's like a pencil hole in the big trays. It just took ages. It took
Yeah, I hated it. It took so long, and I was like, "This is a waste of my life."
Jess, are you son? Are you a set girl or a seed girl?
Until last year, I'd completely given up on sets. I only grew sets last year because my sister went a bit nuts when she was ordering hers and ordered like 4 varieties, and she's only got one bed she can put onions in. So she just came over with like all these bags of onions, and I did give them a go. And they were like reasonably successful. The only one that I will always grow from set is Pink Panther. Um, but other than that, because that is an outrageously good onion and it's delicious.
Mm.
That's such a good
Um,
Yeah,
name.
get me
so
pen. Get me pen.
it's a
I haven't
it's
got
a
a pen.
beauty. It's an absolute
Pink
beauty of
So
Panthers.
is
I
it
of
don't.
an
like a
onion.
blush? Is it like a blush
Yeah,
onion?
it's like a
Yes.
pale pink and it's quite
Yeah.
squat. It's like a
Yes.
flying saucer shape.
Yeah.
Just beautiful, beautiful onion. So I will always grow that one from sets from now on. But yeah, I'm not much of a sets person, generally from seed.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I was a set man through and through because my mother, you know what I mean. But then I was finding every red onion would go to seed, and then this year or last year they didn't with you know what I mean, that with the sown from seeds they were like
Yeah.
ideal. So what,
Would
Jess? What that onion? What is it like used for like say making like a bolognese or putting in like stews and stuff like that, or is it a salad?
It's just like you could just slice it up raw and have it in a salad. It's really sweet. Um, it's got quite a strong flavour. It's not like the big fat French onions that are just super sweet and they don't have a great big oniony flavour. It's not like that, but they've still got that real high sugar level. Like if you fry them off, they caramelise like on their own without sticking any sugar in or anything. It's just a really
Mm.
beautiful onion. Um, yeah, lovely. And I've just on the year, so I've grown that be the third year that I've grown them, and everything else around them has failed and fallen by the wayside and rotted out and got allium leaf miner and this, that, and the other. And the pink panthers are just like rock solid.
Now we're talking.
I'm well impressed with them.
Oh, well,
Now we're
it's actually
talking.
good to know because actually when you recommended them Japanese, the black Trifeli tomatoes, I got a cracking crop off them. You know what I mean? Because what I saw them, do you know what I mean? I was a kind of little bit flaked out at sometimes, but they were a lovely shape as well.
Beautiful shape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They're really heavy, don't they? They're like little bags.
No, I was well impressed with them, and they came hellish strong, lovely plants as well. So another good recommendation.
Nice.
Audrey, are you sowing seeds for onions? Is that something?
Oh, absolutely, but I'm not doing it on Boxing Day. I did that last year, and I know.
Sorry, listen,
I know.
listen, block your ears, lad.
Maybe I'll try a few. It's just a little too early for me, and I like to get them out when they're still pretty young. I just think they do better and they get more established. So I don't want to put up big, huge onions. Last year it was kind of a disaster.
Well, that's actually when we just let folks know Audrey's in kind of, I forget now, is it Detroit? And it's like
I'm in Detroit, yeah.
Minus, you know what I mean, 60 for most of the year. So
I get you're not quite that cold, but
mind you, Audrey, just going to the weather temperature there, I don't know how you can kind of stand that weather because we were in Berlin like a week ago.
I know that was pretty cute how freezing you were.
It went in my
I just kind of giggle and go, okay, they just don't get it.
Radiator boy, that was my nickname, you know. It was just like it was just unbearable.
Yeah, sometimes it's really bitter cold here. Yeah.
Man.
That's when you stay inside and turn the fire on and chillax for a little bit.
Oh no, not when you're with my wife and you dragged around Berlin looking at every kind of, it was just those kind of warm drinks. We were just supping them constantly. Where you kind of, it's like hot punch, but we were having the kind of non-alcoholic thing. But it was just like, it's like even like with friends had like frost. He had frost on his tash. Do you know what I mean? It was just, man, like the condensation of him breathing was just freezing. Straight away. So Audrey, when will you?
I'll do it probably second, maybe third week of January.
Right.
That's still quite early.
Yeah, just a little bit later. And then I can get them out end of March, early April, and they'll be just the right size. So, but I might, in honor of Steve, just plant some on Boxing Day and see how they do. Because it is, done. I get it. It's the tradition. So,
well, I suppose it's the tradition over here in the north. You know what I mean? Kind of like warm England. Kind of.
I know, but I feel connected. So I think I'll just do some.
Anything else, JB? What we got? I've got you there saying.
I think it's quite nice if at the start we just go around and ask what everyone's up to in the garden. Because I selfishly talked about my manure and then we moved on. So I was wondering...
You might want to rephrase that.
Yeah.
Your manure.
Talking.
Yeah, that's gonna be a soundbite. Oh
yeah. So should we go to Jessie? Just go clockwise. Ask what Jessie's up to in the garden. What your last week?
Funnily enough, all I've been doing today is moving manure. Like that's it. That's all I've
there
done.
We go.
Like,
it's the time of year, isn't it?
The car.
Wow.
But I am pleased to see that I can now stop desperately watering my gunnera that I've been trying to keep alive for however many years, and it's done nothing. But now it's illegal, so I don't have to keep going with it.
It's illegal, is it?
They have just changed the rating on. So there used to be 2 varieties of gunnera. One of them was considered invasive and you weren't allowed to grow it. And then there was another one, which is what they thought most of the gunneras being sold in the UK were. But it turns out that it was the RHS did a genetic testing program on them. And it turns out that actually that one died out, they think in the 50s. And what's been left is a hybrid between the baddie and the goodie, which is actually just as bad as the baddie. So now all gunneras, you're not allowed to sell them. And you're not allowed to cultivate them, which means if they're in a boggy area, you can keep them. But if they're in a drier area and you need to actively water them, you're not allowed to. And mine is in a dry area and I tip buckets of water on it every year and it does nothing. But now I'm going to officially give up.
Wow.
Whereas those are the giant ones. You
Yeah.
always see them like when you drive. I'm not saying I drive up stately homes, but they're always in them kind of driveways of like homes and stuff.
Huge. They're like a rhubarb style leaf, but really spiky.
Uh-huh.
And they grow along the edge of ponds and like really boggy
Yeah.
areas
Hmm.
and absolutely beautiful.
They're like prehistoric, aren't they? They're really,
Yeah.
really old.
Stunning. And when they die back and you've just got that like huge cone sticking out of the ground, yeah, they look really, I mean, they're incredibly impressive.
Mm.
But
And that's
yeah.
on
Wow.
your allotment, is it, Jess? And did you put it in your allotment?
There's a girl, there's a girl a couple of allotments up from me that has got the most beautiful, she's got a Gunnera and a Philadelphus like hanging over her pond, and it just looks like dreamland. And I've tried to grow both on mine, which is only about like 20 meters away, and neither of them would go. So
Wow.
just refused. But yeah, I'm going to give up now
Right,
officially.
officially. I didn't.
Officially.
Well, that's actually news to me. I've never even kind of heard that. You know what I mean? You would think you'd kind of because I would have thought they were kind of rather special plants to like protect, but
Yeah.
obviously they just most people will be able to grow them good. Then, yes, is that what you're saying? And they're quite easy to grow.
Like the only time I ever see them is like you say in like stately homes and stuff. And there's an absolutely magnificent one along the bottom edge of the big pond in Kew Gardens. I mean, it's gorgeous. But apparently, like lots of areas in Wales and Scotland, they've really taken over where there's like damp gullies and things, and
Mhm.
they're just wrecking everything, and they stop anything else growing around it. So they've
Hmm.
decided. Mm.
Interesting. Interesting.
It's funny, mind you, because that's to I never kind of like I know we'll mention Steve again, like flowers, and it's always just like veg for me. Do you know what I mean? Where you're kind of making it's a mixture of I guess all sorts, just because you've even got livestock on there as well. You know what I mean? So
Mm.
that's it's an unusual kind of for me to you know what I mean to kind of even think about putting a plant that would do nothing but just look nice. Do you know what I mean? It's just like. Mm, mm. Audrey,
Other
what are you,
things that
what
do nothing but look nice, to be fair.
what are you doing, Audrey?
Looking at my frozen garden
Yeah.
lot. Yeah, there's really not much to do outside. I'm going to start microgreens this week and
Nice.
grow some indoor lettuces, and I might give the cucumber another chance. Did not do well last year, but I'm thinking that would be nice to do.
I remember that. I forgot all about that. I had quite
Yeah,
a good little show with that.
you sure did.
Uh-huh. Yes,
So I think
someone remind us then, Audrey, when did we sow them? When was
1st of
you could
Jan.
sow them right now. I mean, yeah, as long as they don't need pollination, you can sow them.
mm-hmm.
So I think I'm going to give that another shot. And I'm looking through seed catalogs like it's my job. So, putting all my sticky notes on all the pages. So we'll see. So
Exciting.
that's what I'm
That's
doing in the
exciting.
garden. Yeah.
Nice. Very nice.
Well,
Yeah.
I haven't done anything. Do you know what I mean? I think that I took up some quad grows the last time I had a delivery of quad grows. That was the last time
Yeah. You're going all in with that.
going
Yeah.
all in. Yeah, yeah. Did you see, Audrey, that I bought all these lids as well? Got some
Yes.
great. And mind when
And
you've
now
got
you're
to
going, how do I get the plants? Wait a
plant in,
minute.
and
Yeah.
there was loads of like comments, you know what I mean? And I might actually try a few different ones. You know, there's loads of people said just cut it in half because it actually clips on to the
Oh,
top
Oh, that
to the.
makes sense.
It's a nice clip. So even if it was cut in, you could still clip it. A lot of people saying use tights and cut tights, but I was thinking that might like kind of snap branches when you put in. But one, there was one golden one, but you need space and just grow the plant through it. You know what I mean? So like,
Oh, yeah, from when it's young.
yeah. And I went, oh, you know what I mean? But you need a lot of space because
Yeah.
you've these
Yeah.
things are kind of, I don't know, 12 inches or 10 inches. So
I'd only cut one in half though and see if it works.
I know
Go.
I could
I
the
know, but
four,
you
four.
you tend to go all in, and now they're all cut in half, and nothing works.
And
Yes,
I've got them all different sizes as well.
exactly.
It takes us like over 3 hours to kind of
Yeah,
find that one goes with that one.
yeah, exactly.
Actually,
Yes.
I've just thought there though, that's you cannot cut it then, because you'd end up having that scenario. If you didn't cut it
Well,
exactly
put numbers
100%
on them, maybe.
You
in the
could use a
middle.
jig.
Yeah, or put numbers on them, 1 and 1, 2 and 2.
Uh-huh.
Like you could paint
I,
numbers on them.
Audrey, I wouldn't have even thought that far apart until the
Oh,
point came when I went, oh shite.
A
Where's
40-piece
where's
puzzle.
there's 80 bits. It's like a jigsaw every year. Oh, that'd be the worst thing. I would
oh,
someone actually mentioned, like to grow it through, and I thought, oh, that would be, at least do some of them like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Maybe
when you
some of
got
me
40
mates
though.
chilies. I know.
Mm.
You
Don't.
imagine
you have
trying to balance a tiny little pot with that bloody great thing on
Oh, I
top
know.
of it and
I
not have it
haven't.
tip over. Like,
I haven't even thought that far ahead, Jess. You know what I mean? I just, it's like that was when we were in. I was saying to GB, we were in like Berlin, and I woke up at you silly time in the morning, and I just ordered them from Green Sensations. You know what I mean? I was like, well, I look at my phone, because you know what I mean. It's the best thing to do to get back to sleep is to pick up your phone and
yeah.
start internet shopping. So I bought like, I don't know how many, 40 of them. It cost us over 120 quid, I think. You know what I mean? It was just because
So
I
you're
I
putting
seen one
40 of
person
these
said
up?
that. What was that, Audrey?
You're putting 40 of these quad grows up?
Well, I think I've ordered quite like plant pots. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like 40 pots.
right,
So it's like whatever that works out as actually quad grow. You know what I mean? So,
right.
but I've also got. Did you see the chili grow,
Yes, a
which is
little bit
actually a
smaller.
nice? Yeah, they look
Yeah.
actually quite sweet and quite nice, and they might be even better. To be honest, I don't know what your thought is, JB, on the.
Yeah, I think maybe, I'm just formulating some thoughts here. The brain is going. The advice I always give is aiming for a 10 or a 12-liter pot at the end of the season. And I don't know if that is actually good advice for most people, you know.
You say that now.
I think
For
so.
for 4 years you've been preaching this.
It's
I spent another 50 quid on all this size pot, which you recommended last year.
it is good advice if you start early and you've got lights and you're really going for it, like aiming to grow chilies like a pro. But the chili grow is 7 liters or maybe six or
Six,
seven-ish.
six, six, I
Um,
think.
and actually, I think, for most people, that's probably pretty sensible. Some of my best chilies come out in the 7.5-liter pots, even when I'm starting really early. So I think I'm gonna kind of, change my advice a little bit for most allotment growers, especially if you've not got lights and that kind of thing. I mean, I do always say that when we're doing the in-depth, the deep dives, but I think aiming for maybe a 5 or a 7-liter pot, that kind of range is actually a bit better. So for entry level growers, I think maybe the chili grow is like a nice safe bet. You can still get amazing chilies out of a quad grow though. Um, they are quite well suited. But I think, is that a 12-liter pot, 10 or a 12-liter pot in a quad grow? It's quite chunky for
Yeah.
sure.
It'll be interesting, mind you, to see what tomatoes grow
Yeah.
like. Do you know what I mean? Like you say, I'm all in. Do you know what I mean? So,
How many
but
chili grows have you got?
just the one.
Just
Do you know what I mean? Just the one that kind of came down for the from Grown Local for the video. So I think at the moment I've probably got enough quads to fill up the greenhouse once, because I've got actually there's a box in here. This is like a Christmas present of my daughter. So my daughter's bought us like 8 pots. You know what I mean? So and I
nice.
can't take it. I've got to wait till Christmas. So you know what I mean. So that's
I
what.
was.
JB, oh,
Oh
JB,
yeah, we've all got questions.
is there a reason that you don't grow them in the ground?
Generally, it's just for space. So the only time historically I could have grown them in the ground was outdoors, and that's just a big old risk, I found.
Sure, sure.
So the big disadvantage with growing outside in the ground is moisture. you have no control over how much moisture they're getting and if they're going to get waterlogged and that kind of thing. I am going to do some in the ground this year for the first time either in the tunnel or the greenhouse because I now have a greenhouse where I can grow in the ground as well. Um, and the other thing is with growing in the ground is quite often you can end up with a massive plant that doesn't set enough fruit. Um, because often there's a few things that will signal it to start setting fruit, and in a pot you can force it because it goes, oh, I've run out of space. It's time to do my thing, do the fruit. But a lot of people do grow in the ground and get good results in this country. I know Steve had an amazing plant in his tunnel, so I'm gonna give it a go, see what we think.
Well,
And
Audrey, just to chip in there, I always used to grow in the ground, and it was very hit or miss. Sometimes it would work, sometimes inevitably I'd get a stunted plant, and I
Yeah.
would get maybe 4 or 5 chilies off it. And I followed JB's advice last year, put them in pots, mixed up vermiculite and perlite as well, which I've never done. It was just into the kind of soil I was just watering on from like that. Just night and day difference. Do you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Night and maybe a lot that had to do with it where I had them nurtured nice in the greenhouse, so they were looked
Yeah.
after. You know what I mean? In the greenhouse a lot of the time in their early stage, but it was night and day the difference
Yeah, you
in
got it
in
bang on this year.
in
You
the
did really
pots. Yeah,
well.
I think it was luck, mind you, JB, as well. Do you know what I mean? I know I had all the kind of right ingredients, but you can get all the right ingredients and still turn out a crappy cake. You know what I mean? So I just
Yeah,
kind of
I
think,
I've never grown them in pots, so I was just now I know obviously it's a slightly different, but I just never have.
but
I,
you get good crops though as well, or
Oh
straight in the
yeah.
ground, yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. It's crazy. I put
See,
them in a
that's
raised
that's
bed.
the that's the thing
yeah.
with chilies, though, JB. I think that's why we're like everyone has their own kind of method. And there's not a golden rule because Audrey's planting, so you must sow them outside, sorry, late for the temperature,
Oh no, I saw them inside. They're well grown before they go outside.
right? So also they're a nice good size before
Oh
when
yeah,
you
they're a good size. And I
right.
kind of pack them in, so maybe that mimics putting them
Yeah,
in a
that
pot. I
competition.
am very greedy with my space. So if I can shove one more plant in there, I'm going to do it. And so if I have 16, 20 plants and I have the same space, they're all going to go in there. So, but yeah, I always have great peppers
Yeah,
and
nice.
chilies. I know that you differentiate. We call them all peppers over here. But yeah, but maybe it's because I crowd them in a bit.
I'm gonna go pots this year because I've had them in the just in the loose ground, like inside. Well, firstly, I'm following JB religiously on the chili front this year, but like I've had them in like the raised bed in the polytunnel, and just as you're talking now, I'm thinking like what normally happens is that they plants grow really lush because they're in the same bed as the tomatoes, and I'm really
Mm-hmm.
looking after the tomatoes, loads of water, loads of feed, all this, and the tomatoes are all lovely and lush, and the chili plants get really lovely and lush and produce no fruit until I chop down all the tomatoes and basically completely neglect the polytunnel, and then they start producing. So yeah, they're being too well looked after in the
Mm.
poly when the tomatoes are in there, so I'll just have to separate them.
Mm.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense. Quite often it's the change of temperature that signals the plant as well because it starts
Mm,
to get colder and they go, oh, it's the end of the season. But the problem is a lot of chili peppers take a really long time to set and ripen.
yeah.
So quite often you can have a load of green peppers on your plant that it's just kind of too late for. You run out of time. It's cool though. Yeah, we'll do some growing
I
along
love how we
together
always
this
seem
year.
JB come back to chilies. Do you know what I mean? It's
I
it's
just
like
yeah,
it's an
yeah.
addiction. Do you know what I mean? We need to kind of rein it in. We need to kind of get
Yeah.
therapy.
Well, I was gonna say as well, so one of our next Mondays falls on the first New Year. So I think it might be good to do a bit of a chili special then, because that's when I'm gonna be sowing my first chilies, 1st of Jan. It's when I like to start.
Mind it's like it's
Your
ne
handwriting, JB.
Yes, it is
Yeah,
indeed.
it just arrived on my desk just before we came online. Haven't
Perfect.
opened it yet.
Perfect.
so are those seeds by any chance then some?
There's a few chilies in there.
Right, right. What any like red hot ones, JB,
No,
or
I was very sensible, I think. They're all flavor overheat, those ones. But
Mm.
there's some sugar rush stripey in there, which have you tried growing those before, Jesse? Ah, they're
Um,
gorgeous.
but
They're
I have
gorgeous.
admired them from a distance.
who
Yeah.
well, if you Jess, if you'd the folks that came up to my allotment to kind of tidy it out, there was Jason Pope from Allotment from the Dead. He took them away and made like a chili jam
Yeah.
for us. And he sent it back to us, you know what I mean? We'll give one away as a competition. I've just had it today as well, still. Do you know what I mean? It is absolutely gorgeous.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? But I
Yeah.
like chili jam, like, it goes like saying not as hot as you would want. This has got a little bit of bite to it, a little bit of kick. I like a little, I don't like where JB was trying his chilies in
Oh
the, you know
God.
what I mean? And kind of just like starting to hallucinate with the heat. I don't like that
Yeah.
kind of heat, you know what I mean? And then your mate comes along, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mamma mia.
Uh, but I
So
like
is
it. Like,
sorry,
one,
go ahead,
no,
Tony. You
no,
want to
no,
interrupt? Okay, I just wanted to ask if the Sugar Rush Stripey is hot. Is it kind of like a Sugar Rush Peach?
Yeah,
Or
similar.
okay, okay,
Yeah, it's you know, that's the parent is the peach, I think, and it's been crossed with some other stuff.
okay.
Kind of, yeah, a little bit of poke, if you have one of
Yeah,
them
I like those
raw.
Sugar Rush Peach. Those
Yeah,
are
they
you
do
have
it's
a
have a
nice heat.
cracking crop, JB, of that peach ones, didn't you? Mother
oh,
sugar,
Oh,
man.
yeah, mine was incredible. I had about 2 kilograms from
Uh-huh,
one plant.
uh-huh.
Oh, wow.
And
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
from, I forgot the name of them. What are they
that
called?
was the autopot.
Auto pot.
Yeah, so cheating. I was going to ask, Jesse, if you've ever done any of the automatic watering system stuff, any of the quad grows, the chili grows.
No, but I'm eyeing it up for this year. Really am.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sure you could get someone to send you some to try out. I'm sure you could do
Cheating.
it.
I see, I'm interested in them. Do you know what I mean? Like I've went full in just as that that idea and not kind of. I'm not saying I don't want to go up to the garden every day, but the pressure of going up every day to water is a different thing from going up to kind of enjoy it. You know what I
Right.
mean? So I mean,
Yeah,
I was thinking about this. It'll take a while to fill all them reservoirs the day I go up to water. You know what I mean? That's gonna, you know what I mean?
take a
So.
book with you.
I know. You know what I mean? Just kind of I'll have a seat in the hose
Move
pipe
the
maybe then.
hose.
Yeah,
Or take
yeah.
a thermos at least.
But the thought of like having that membrane down, though, that's the, you know what I mean? And I don't mind it not
Yeah.
working there, Jess. I don't mind it kind of killing all things there. That's just lovely to have a kind of neat and tidy. You know what I mean?
Your
Should we
mom will
talk
be proud.
parsnips? Yeah.
You know what, JB? I said I was going to go up and dig a one up, and I haven't. So
You've not you've not had a
I
little look
haven't
at
got
your
a
parsnips
parsnip
yet?
to show because we're talking about the challenge that was, you know what I mean? And I kind of sneakily re-entered myself when they actually, because I took myself out of the challenge when they were when we had because they weren't growing, but then actually some were there. So what's the rules then, JB? Because we're going to come to an end with this parsnip challenge, so there is going to be a winner, and I think JB is going to offer up a nice cash prize to the winner as well.
Absolutely not. We
Oh,
the prize is a nice big pat on the back, isn't it? Or have you got any of those certificates kicking around, Tony?
All right, I could print
Yeah.
off a level 2 gardening one. You know what I mean? I think there's only about 2 people got one of them. So,
yeah, I'm still level 1, so
well, you have to
you
bump your
know.
ideas up, young lass.
Yeah, we've had loads of questions recently about the rules for the competition, who's going to be the winner, and we get to kind of come up with those rules today as a group. I think the rough kind of idea is you pick one around Christmas. That was going to be the kind of close, and we all started them off kind of it was quite an open window, wasn't it? March to May,
Mhm.
basically. But the idea was hopefully you've direct sown them. That was the idea. Steve always said you just take the seeds and put them in the soil. None of the they're faffing around with pre-wetting and all that kind of stuff. We still want to see your parsnips if you've done that, but you don't get the full prize if you if you've done it with faffing around. But yeah, when you've pulled your parsnips, maybe I think you need to pick one picture, just one picture, so we don't get flooded with, 10 pictures from everyone. And then go over to the Discord. And in the Discord, there's a parsnip competition channel. And post your one entry, your one photograph in there. And we'll have a little think about who gets the best
Nope.
parsnips.
We
And we're
need
meant
some sort of like weight and girth measurements, put on there, because
Yeah,
otherwise, you can take some pretty misleading pictures,
that's
like
true. Yeah, you could like hold one up here, make it
uh-huh.
make
Yep.
it
yeah.
look
Well,
like the
it
size
might
of
be
your
nice then. Yeah,
body.
that's a good idea, Jess. Maybe we need like a tape measure with you, or like even like
Okay,
even like
yeah.
I say a can of Coke next to it, so we'll get like some rough
Something for
idea.
scale.
I
Mm,
Yeah.
like it.
yeah,
Okay.
but you
I
could
like
quite
it.
AI could quite I could hold something like I could pretend to hold something there, put this giant parsnip in my hand, you know what I mean, kind of. So I've still got some actually. I've got about I'm gonna say a six there left ready to pick, you know what I mean? So well, JB, give us a closing date then. And if you don't mind, JB, because I'm sick of telling folks what it is, explain to folks, because I get loads of texts. What's Discord?
It's quite hard to describe, isn't it?
Will you
It's
please
like
tell
a
folks what
Sorry.
Discord is?
it's like a modern chat room. If you're a person of a certain age, chat rooms are like the touchstone there. It's like just a little channel, like it's got lots of little channels, little topic areas. Um, and there's loads of us in there, isn't there? There's like 400 odd at least.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, me and Tony are on there, all the gang is on there, and you can there's just different channels for different chats, and people just share what they're up to in their gardens, and they can ask us questions. There's a little question channel and that kind of thing. So yeah, pop on over and
and
show us your
and
parsnips.
JB, we've got to be a little bit more Lola, and it's an internet page. That's come on. There's a
Yeah,
few of my listeners are kind of well over the kind of retirement age. It's on the internet. Do you
it
know what I mean?
is on
Let's
the
start
internet.
there with the basics. It's a
You can
web
either get it
page.
on your desktop, like on your computer as an app. I think there's a web page
Yeah, yeah,
if you've
you can
just got
get
a
it.
web.
Yeah, yeah, you can
And
get
you
it.
can get the app for your phone as well. Lots of people just use it on their phone, and
So
it's quite
to
good.
join on this show now, there'll be some show notes when we put it out. There'll be a link. You hit that link, which will take you over to the page to invite you in. And then once you're in, there's a little introduce yourself, say hello. You'll see it'll say introduce yourself. And then
Yes,
from
yes.
there, there's competitions and the parsnip challenge. And if as well, just while we do this, while we're talking about Discord, competitions, because when I put a competition there, how do I enter? You know what I mean? So you click on the little competition on the left hand side. There's a whole load of it. There's potty chat, there's competitions, parsnip challenge, also. You click on that, which takes you to the page where the competitions are. There's a little icon underneath, and you click that little icon, little blue icon, sometimes like a smiley face or a rocket, and that automatically enters you into the competition, and it'll eventually automatically pick a winner. So that's how, once and for all, that's Discord 101 for
Your
the over
Discord guide.
65s.
uh,
Very
Yes.
good.
Right. How is Garden Mojo? Oh, wait on, Jess. You've got some trial cams, as JB's seen. You've got
Oh, the
some
trail cam.
trail
Yeah, I want to hear
cams.
about Jesse's trail cam news.
Well, first off, I haven't managed to record any video yet. Only
Yay!
only stills. Only stills. I've had it out 2 nights, and I have caught a lot of rats.
Oh
Nice.
And all
no.
you can
oh,
see of them is their eyes, just like these two
Yeah.
eyes, like that. Yeah, that's it.
oh,
And got a fox, one fox, um, magpies, and a lot of lily.
The
Yeah.
allotment cat.
So
oh,
yeah, the
Lily's
cat.
so pretty.
It's
What are you, Jess? What were you hoping to get on it? Is that what you were hoping to catch on it?
well, no, eventually I want to catch one of the badgers in action.
Right.
That's what I really want it for. But the problem is that although when they do arrive, they cause loads of damage, and it's really like it's quite obvious when they've been there. They're not there that often, thank goodness. So actually, like catching one on camera is going to be probably quite a slow waiting game, with a lot of luck if I catch one. So yeah, I
It
haven't caught
is.
one yet.
Interesting.
It is badgers though, is it? It's not because JB's child
Definitely
field.
badgers. We have so many badger sets on our
Oh,
site,
right.
and we've got like a big cemetery. We're sandwiched between school playing fields and a cemetery, and the cemetery has had some terrible problems with badgers, as you can imagine. Not great.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Yeah, really not great. And so they've like cornered off, because obviously they can't move them on, because you're not allowed to move them on. They've actually
Protected.
taken part of the cemetery and like built this enclosure for them, like this big thing. But the enclosure, they can't really get out to the cemetery, but they come into our allotments. So all one side of the allotments is just like, looks like, Battle of the Somme. And so it's definitely them, because they've got really distinctive like toilet habits. They use like the same latrine over and over again, so they dig a hole and they just keep shitting in it. And when you get them all like along the path, so we know it's them, and they're so destructive when they do actually come on the allotment. But because they've got such a vast area, they don't come on that often. So yeah, catching them on the camera,
Oh.
it's going to be exciting, but yeah, going to need a bit of luck.
have they ever damaged any of your garden then, Jess? Have they? Or
Well, it's almost impossible on our site. Like people, it's very, very difficult to grow anything with a high sugar content. So
Yeah.
parsnips, sweet corn, beetroot. Like we've got people have electric fences around their sweet corn, trying to keep them off, and it still doesn't really work.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, they just crash through anything. They're just like, they're built like this at the front because of their digging. They're like bulldogs,
They're
and it's just like
tanks.
this huge thing of muscle. And there's like if they really want in, there's not much you can do. It's like, what was it, 2 years ago, they crashed through our chicken house door and just killed all the chickens. Like, and it's just like almost nothing you can do about it. Like, they're bulldozers. They are bulldozers. So
what?
the best I can hope for is to see them bulldozing on the camera.
Right, that's so
That's the
Wow.
best. Yeah.
why would they kill chickens then? Is it just for the sake of killing them? Is it like a fox just kills them for the
Well,
sake of?
they're omnivores. Like they eat anything. It's like you don't get hedgehogs and badgers living in the same area, because the badgers just eat the hedgehogs, which is pretty grim. So
Not as
yeah, they
grim
they
as
will eat.
not as grim as what you call it is all the dead bodies getting took up. You know?
Oh yeah, that was another level grim. That was.
Oh
Oh
my
my
God.
goodness.
Your grandmother, quick, get a spade. Bloody hell.
Pretty terrible.
Man.
Good Lord.
Oh, no.
Oh,
Audrey, what do you get? I'm sure we've asked you this before. What?
Yeah,
squirrels.
That's it. Aye,
Oh
squirrels.
yeah,
you don't need
my
trail cams, do
nemesis.
you? Can you just see
I
them
don't.
doing it?
Oh, they're right out there right now. I can see them. It's always like mating season for them. I don't get it, but it's like spring is irrelevant. They're right out there now. Yeah, that's my nemesis. I love though that you guys get foxes. I know you probably don't, but I think they're so beautiful. And I think, wow, we get squirrels. You guys get foxes. I'm like, wow, what a beautiful rodent to have.
Do you get
Although,
raccoons though?
not here.
Oh, I would love it if we had raccoons. They are so cute.
They are very cute. We get
Though,
the
aren't they?
odd opossum will come through.
Not
No,
so cute. Not so cute.
no, it's a face only a mother could love for sure. Uh, we do get coyotes occasionally,
Oh,
Wow.
that's cool.
and they come across because we border Canada, and they come once the lake freezes, they come over from Canada, and so all the ladies
Wow.
who have little purse dogs,
Yeah.
you better put those little purse dogs away
Oh
because the
wow.
coyotes in town. Yeah. So there's like little neighborhood, oh my gosh, saw a coyote here. So there's always like coyote spottings. So yeah. But I've never seen one in my garden.
Mm. You don't get pests really like that, do you, Tony? You've never had.
I get cat shitting in me tunnels now and again. That's
Ah,
about the kind of. But
that
and
is annoying though.
I've seen the odd rat, but I think the cat keeps the rats away. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and
Yeah.
it's like a big ginger cat there. So I kind of,
Oh,
we live in harmony, to be honest. So if it does shit in the tunnel, you know what I mean? I just kind of, yeah, oh,
well, then you shouldn't
all
leave your
right,
door
all
open.
right.
You're leaving the door open if she's getting in
Oh, I
there.
know. Yeah. I mean, I
Yeah.
think they would kind of sneak in my kind of DIY skills. Just the door shut doesn't help. You know what I mean? Them things aren't level. But yeah, there's nothing. I did have, and has anyone ever had, and I don't know if someone just played a joke on us or not, but I had an egg buried in my garden, and everyone said it was a fox burying
Oh
an
yeah.
egg. And it was
The
you know,
misfortune of putting a spade or a fork through a rotten egg that's been buried by something in the garden.
Ugh.
Holy smoke. That
Ugh.
is horrific. Absolutely horrific.
so
Not a
Jess, because
garden
this
memory
was
either.
this was a proper like chicken's egg buried in me, and it was kind of deep. Do you know what I mean? So that would have been a fox do that.
Yeah.
Just bizarre, eh?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there must I've seen actually foxes in the village. Do you know what I mean? But I've never seen them. They might be there. Do you know what I mean? And I know I've got one of them trail cams. Actually, I mean, I don't know if it's even working there now. It's stuck on the hut. It's been there for a few years. You know what I mean? And
Mm.
I once, I once tried sitting here with the trail cam over there to try and find if it would work, and I flew my drone over, and it actually did work. It picked the
Oh
drone like
wow.
kind of buzzing around. That because I never got anything on any animal. I'd give it to me mum. Now my mother was feeding the foxes in her
Oh, no.
village, and it was costing. She would buy Marks and Spencer's sausage rolls,
Oh
like
my
like
goodness.
packets and packets of them. Do you know what I mean? And they were kind of coming always. Do you know what I mean? Like this big family would of foxes would come down, and the footage was amazing. Do you know what I mean? They were just like dead, like. But then there would then another one, and the mother's like costing her a fortune. But then she said they just stopped coming, and she thinks they were like culled, maybe. You know what I mean, or something. You know, like because it was a big family of them would come for Marks and Spencer's sausage rolls, and then
I'm not surprised.
you
They've
know what I
told all
mean?
their friends they
Aye.
traveled for
Well,
miles.
then the next day it was just builders were caught on camera, like three in a row. You know what I mean? I thought there was some great like camp. You know, it was a good. I mean, it's always nighttime vision. You know what I mean? But the nighttime vision was great, and I've seen, like I say, I've seen foxes in the village, but never on the allotment. Do you know what I mean? And so might be interesting to just kind of set one up. Jesse, where'd you actually put your where have you got your camera?
It's a funny
Um,
setup.
very pro, very, very pro. It was kind of tied to the back of one of the chairs, with one of those little pots that JB's not going to sow his onions into this year, jammed behind it to keep it in a tilt. And then the next time I stuck it on a big pole, but the big pole one, it kind of caught too much of an area and it just kept going off with things that I couldn't see. And it was kind of pointing towards the chicken house, which I hadn't thought of because obviously chickens
Mm.
move, and
Yeah.
hadn't sort of thought about that. So I just got tons of pictures of my own chickens, which wasn't quite what I was going for. Um, but it's so sensitive. I'm absolutely amazed. Like when I had it on the chair, which was like right across one side of the plot, you've got me. I've got like 1.5 width plot. Then we've got another two half allotments, like width wise on that side. The fourth allotment along, they caught him who just was like walking up and down his plot. I got about
Ah,
10
blimey.
photographs of Colin. So yeah, it's like it's
You've
really
been
What
sensitive.
packed.
I'm
what
well impressed.
what through the night? Colin's walking up and down. You know what I mean?
This is
Colin, what
this
you
is
up to?
afternoon. Yeah. He's not prowling around in the night, luckily.
Colin, for God's sake, put them trousers back on. God, put your coat back on, for God's sake, Colin, man. There we go with this one. So, yes.
Oh,
Dear.
Do you still use yours then, JB? Because I know you've caught them and you know
Yeah,
they're there. Are
I
they
st
still coming?
I've it's here handily, which means it's not set up at the moment. It's kind of done its job for me. I know that it was the foxes which allowed me to set up the fencing with the foxes in mind. Um, and I've set it up a couple of times trying to see are they, scratching on the chicken wire or anything like that? But all the footage has just been them kind of wandering around, and it seems like they've been deterred now. So I'll just kind of put it up every now and then as a little novelty. When I set it up the other day, something I've learned is your clothes look completely different under the infrared camera. So like I was looking at the footage and I was like, who is that messing with the camera? Someone's like got their hand on it and like messing around with it. It's just me. It's just like I was wearing grey jeans and the camera turned them like pitch black. And I was wearing a black coat that was like really reflective and was like bright grey. And I was like, that's not me. But it was. It was.
Would you not want
Thankfully.
to, like just get, how the kind of you see the wildlife documentaries, JB, where the kind of I don't mean befriend them, but you know what I mean. You get the know each individual one,
Yeah,
and
well, it's two young foxes, which is like really cute. They're probably like brothers or siblings or something from the same den. And it's amazing watching them play together. It's really cute. They're always kind of like running after each other, and they just got these tiny little ears. It's like they're quite big now, but they've still got little baby ears. They're so healthy. So they're like quite nice to
does,
kind of enjoy.
does it? I cannot remember with mine. Does it pick up sound as well or not?
Yeah,
Or
mine does. Mine
all right,
does.
right,
So you can hear that. That's how I could hear them battering on the
right,
polytunnel.
right.
Oh,
It was really loud. I was like, oh God.
So, because I've heard them, they make like a weird laugh noise, don't
Ah,
they?
the fox screams are harrowing.
not good.
Like when
The
you first hear
screaming.
them,
Hmm.
you're like, what is happening to someone in
Yeah.
distress? It's really like
Oh,
Lots, like
creepy.
not just at the allotment, but just like in the streets around here. Like and
Yeah.
bin day, they pull everything out of your bin and like
Yeah.
just scatter it. So you have to collect it back up again in the morning. But when it's mating season, that's screaming. So when it's right outside your window, like it's
Yeah.
pretty terrifying.
Mm,
Yeah.
man. So,
Yeah, it's kind of
mm.
haunting.
Jess, are you doing anything about the rats then, or are you kind of just living with nature?
Uh,
Or
it's really tough. Like we didn't have a rat problem at all until they shut the school down the first time for lockdown. Like I said, I'm sandwiched, like there's a really big secondary school just on the like our boundary. And yeah, you always have rats in a compost heap, but they were just like not big rats. They just lived in there, it wasn't a problem. Since they locked down that school and obviously all the rats that were living off like the canteen food and the bins around there, like they just all came across to the allotment and they haven't left. And so it's like quite a new problem, but it's becoming a real issue. And it's an issue with like the chickens'
Oh,
food,
of
like
course.
storing that. And um, the other problem we got is now that because they like dry space, because it hasn't been a problem before, I didn't realize, but like where I've built the polytunnel, I didn't put anything underneath it. It's just bare earth. So they're just digging straight under and coming up. So it's now full of rat holes, which is great. But I don't want to like poisoning things is pretty blooming horrid anyway. But you've got the added complication that Lily does eat the occasional rat,
Yeah.
and if you're
right.
poisoning the rat, you're going to poison the cat. And
Mhm.
obviously, you don't want to do that. So it's kind of become this, how do you deter them? How do you deter rats? You can't really. Like they
No.
just
Mm.
once they've kind of moved in, and obviously the space in the school where they were before, they've just like repopulated that as well. So they've just populated both places. But
Night goggles, a hat, and an air rifle. Jess, we want you on. You know what I mean?
that, like I was at the council meeting just at the beginning of November, and they were saying that actually on two of the sites they have employed somebody to
Right.
sit there and actually just take them out, like
Never.
because they can't poison them. They've actually got somebody in there, like a rat sniper.
I'd end up shooting myself in the foot. You know what I mean? Kind of
Yeah,
hobbling back in the morning.
just as me catching up, like being able to shoot a rat. I wouldn't be able to shoot a lion, let alone a rat. Like my shot is terrible, but yeah, it would be yeah, quite impressive, I thought, but
Oh, no.
Fez.
I was joking
Wow.
there when I said like, but obviously that's the only way to do it. Then you can, like you
Yeah,
say, poison's a bit
yeah.
of a horrific way. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah. The foxes quite often eat rats as well. So you don't want to be poisoning up the food chain.
No.
Mm.
So I'm going to rebuild the poly tunnel. I'm going to strip it out and chicken wire the whole bottom of it.
Oh God, that's a big
just
job.
to stop. It's a huge job, but I mean, I can't see any other way of stopping them. So I'm gonna have to take that raised bed out, dig it all out, chicken wire it, and go again.
Winter's the time to do it, Jess. Now's the time
Yeah.
to do it.
It is.
You know what I mean? Because that's it. You know what I mean? I would hate that job, mind you. To be honest, you kind of.
Thanks. I would hate that job too. Yeah. The only positive in that is that all of the things that I planned to have growing in the polytunnel over winter, absolutely everything got eaten by slugs. So there's nothing in there at the moment. So I'm not going to be disturbing any plants. It's
Right.
just a barren wasteland. So I can safely dig it out without
What were
disturbing
you
anything.
what were you growing
Silver
then, Jess,
linings.
through the winter?
So normally I have chard in there. Surprise, surprise. So chard and spring onions, mustard greens, turnips for turnip tops, parsley, coriander. I get quite a lot of bits and pieces in there, but just absolutely nothing has
Right.
taken this year. Nothing.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Should we
What
Oh,
wrap
else?
that's
up,
jolly.
Tony?
Sorry, what was that, JB?
Should we wrap up? I'm
Yes,
looking
I
at
was
your
just
clock
gonna
again.
what time I think would be very nice to kind of have had. Normally, actually, JB, we went on quite a while, didn't we? The kind
A
of
little bit over. A little
last
bit
week. Yeah,
over.
we've got to keep it under some sort of kind of
I know,
control.
yeah. We could go for hours.
Well, it's
It's
still on your
nice.
there. I was just looking there. Hotbeds, winter blues. That would have been
Oh
a nice.
yeah.
We could kind of talk about that
Mm.
next week. Next would be nice to kind of talk about it. But I think that's Jess, JB, Audrey. It's been lovely, like I say, putting the band back together again. We were going to
Mm.
kind of
Wonderful.
we did this soft start, me and JB last week, and we said, right, we'll do it after the new year. But we got so excited and it worked. Do you know what I mean? It was quite nice that it
Yes.
worked. So we kind of here we are again.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
No,
Yes.
it's so good to see everybody.
Oh, yes. So we'll see you next week as well. Don't forget, like we say, we're talking about the onions. You know, go to there's a link there for Ian for the Grown Local special little potty mouth set of onion seeds ready for Boxing Day soon. And what else is there? The Discord link,
Parsnip competition.
the parsnip
Mhm.
competition as well.
Join the
Yes,
Discord.
The last order date for the grown local onion seeds is the 17th to get them there in time for actually joining in on the Boxing Day
right.
onion sowing.
Yes.
You read the note. See, I didn't read the note. I just looked and right. I said, right, I have to remember. I didn't. Well done, Jess. Top of the
The
class.
professional. Yes. Well done.
Yes, right. Look after yourselves, everyone. Take good care. See
Thanks
you
all.
next.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.